my queen, my queen. Oh, she, oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel. So strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Oh, oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying back to work, 'cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall, a champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do, yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue, yeah, oh. Where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too. Oh, she is sophisticated, strong, yeah, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful. Not only that you are educated, eccentric, empowering. You're mine, she's a queen. You're mine, you're my. Treat her like queen. No price could be put on how much she's worth. So valuable, she's the soul of the earth. Yeah. All a part of God's genius plan. Powerful as she can be, the man's H-E-L-P. Yes, sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She is humble, honest, and helpful. What I like about her is she's educated, she's my ebony, empowering. Yeah, she's my queen. Sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She's amazing to me. Humble, honest, if you ever had one. She's educated, she's my queen. She built me up, she keeps me going now. Sophisticated, strong, she's my queen. Simply amazing. She's simply amazing.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Well, hello. This is RC Blakes, and I want to thank you again for tuning in. I know, but my prayer is that many of you will come on with me. Please invite some others to come in and to be a part of our amazing conversation on this Monday night. I love to stay consistent. I want to thank all of you that supported Queenology. It was an amazing success. Thank you for coming from all around the United States of America and even from around the world to be a part of our gathering. You know, it's more than, it's really much more than a conference. It's much bigger than an event. It is a time that we really gather as a community and as a family. And I want to take this time right now to especially celebrate my amazing wife who just did a fabulous job with Queenology this year. She and the team, and I'll leave it at team. I don't want to start calling names because there were so many of you that stepped up and stepped in and made Queenology the success it was this year. I am so excited. I am so excited. Now you'll notice that I've opened up membership on the channel, and that's, you know, for the purposes of your being able to support the channel in some small way, but at the same time in a significant way if enough people do it. Now, one of the benefits of membership is we're going to upload content that is just accessible by those who are members. For instance, the content from Queenology, the Q&A from Lisa and I, the message from Lisa, the message from myself, the panel discussion. We're going to load that onto YouTube, but it will be available to members only. So if you see that, you see the moderators encouraging you to become a member, that's what it's all about. It's really just a means for you to support the channel, because sometimes I think that the powers that be are really working against the success of our channel. But we have a strong community, and I always thank you all for supporting. Now, today I want to kind of shift gears, but we're still in the vein of what we normally talk about, and that is women's empowerment, relationships. Today I'm led to deal with how a queen conscious woman may talk to a masculine king conscious man in a way that he can hear. That's what I want to talk about today. How does a woman talk to a man in a way that he can hear her? You know, because all of the years of Lisa and I growing and developing together, a lot of those years, I could not hear her. You know, we were on different frequencies. She was either saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, the wrong way. But there's a way that a woman can talk to a man, a masculine, king conscious, some would say even alpha male, in a way that he can actually hear her. And I was thinking about this, and you know, I was thinking about it just from a human male perspective, just from a human perspective, really a relational perspective, how often it is that women are communicating things that are valid, things that are viable even for a man to understand and to hear. But in a lot of cases, the communication breaks down. And this happens even with great couples, you know, a man that loves a woman that loves a man, and, you know, they're a great couple, but the communication breaks down. And it's, you know, and that happens from both ends. We don't really know how to communicate with one another. But I thought about it, you know, I said, well, now, where's a biblical example of this? You know, I try my best, I do my best to have some biblical reference to whatever human issue we're raising. And, you know, thank God, most of the time I can find a biblical reference. And I found just like the absolute perfect biblical reference of a queen conscious woman communicating a certain kind of way with a king conscious man, and he heard her. And this would be found in the person or in the biblical character of none other than Queen Esther and King Ahasuerus. I always struggle with pronouncing his name. So if I'm mispronouncing it, just understand I struggle with it. But I know it's Queen Esther, and I believe it was King Ahasuerus. She effectively communicated with her man, and he heard her. She effectively, can I get you to type that somewhere in the comments or whatever? Effectively communicated with her man, and he heard her. You see, there's a big difference. Big, huge, humongous difference between talking at your man, talking to your man, versus talking to your man in a way that he can hear you. Because 99% of the time, you know that your man heard you. 99% of the time, you know that he heard you, because 99% of the time, he responds favorably. If what you're communicating comes from the right heart and the right place with the right intention, 99% of the time, you know that he heard you because he responds favorably, as did Queen Esther's man, King, respond to her favorably. If you look over in Esther chapter 5, and I encourage you to kind of like read the whole of Esther's story, but long story short, Esther was a Hebrew, and she discovered that there was a plot in the kingdom. Ahasuerus was not a Hebrew. She discovered that there was a plot in the kingdom to annihilate all Hebrews, all Jews. And Esther, long story short, not to be long, Esther boiled it down to the fact that she had to intervene for her people. She had to intervene for her people on the behalf of her people with the king. And some said, well, if you approach him at the wrong time, the wrong way, he'll have you killed and X, Y, Z. And Esther makes the famous biblical statement, if I perish, let me perish. But she realized that it wasn't enough for her to just rush into the king's presence and to blurt out what her concerns were. She had to apply a certain measure of wisdom so that she wouldn't just be talking at the king, but she would be talking to him and even with him in a way that he could receive and respond. And so here it is in Esther chapter 5, verses 1 through 3. It says, "Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, over against the gate of the house. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand." Here's protocol. If he holds out the scepter, it means you can approach. "So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom." What do you want? I'm going to give you up to half the kingdom. Before she said a word, she had already obtained favor in the king's what? Sight. Now, a queen conscious, feminine woman never manipulates. She doesn't have to, because it is always her man's pleasure to give her her desires. You don't have to manipulate a man that loves you, a man that honors you, a man that respects you. That's why waiting on that kind of man is worth it. When a man loves you, when a man honors you, when a man respects you, you don't have to manipulate that man. It is his pleasure to give you your heart's desire. But now, before I get to breaking down what Esther did right, let's talk about what prevents a man from hearing a woman. Why is it that most women cannot succeed in the area of communicating with your man? Now, mind you, this is the man that you sleep with. This is the man that you're married to. This is the man you've had children by. And for some reason, you cannot successfully communicate in a way that this man hears you. Now, all things being equal, and just to be fair, sometimes you just married a dud, sometimes you just connected yourself, to a low watt bulb, that's just the truth. But let's just say you've married an equivalent. You're connected to a king conscious man while you are a queen conscious woman. What are some things that prevents a man from hearing a woman? Letter A, when you're communicating out of emotion, void of logic. When you're just coming from an emotional place that has no reference to logic whatsoever, you are going to miss your man. Why? It's because men by nature, masculine men by nature, are more logical than we are emotional. Women by nature are built to be more emotional over logical. This is why it's like the yin and the yang, the two work together, right? And so when a woman is communicating purely out of emotion, she's going to usually miss the man. When a man is communicating purely out of logic, he's going to miss the woman. When a man's communication has absolutely nothing to do with how certain things make him or her feel, he's going to miss the woman. When the woman is communicating purely out of how it makes me feel and XYZ, and you don't feel this and you don't feel that. No, he doesn't feel that, because we are wired to be more logical. Masculine men often respond better to logical reasoning rather than emotional outbursts. So though you might feel what you're feeling emotionally, if you want your man to grasp what you're feeling, package it in a way that he can relate to it logically. You know, okay, well, let me give you an example. Um, can I come up with an example? Okay, here's an example. Um, when you do not, here it is. When you do not call, here you are communicating to your man. When you do not call and say, well, I'm going to be 2 hours later than normal, and you just show up 2 hours late, rather than saying, uh, it makes me feel disrespected, or it makes me feel unseen or unheard. You know, you might say that, but then you say, and when I feel this way, I can't relate to you romantically. See, while he might not have connected with, you know, me coming home 2 hours late, or later than normally I would, he might not relate to I don't feel heard or I don't feel seen. He will relate to it. You know, it removes me from being able to relate to you romantically. Now you're appealing to his logic. If I make my woman feel disrespected, unseen, or unheard, the consequence is that she won't be able to relate to me sexually. I hope this is making sense to you, because we're breaking down in the area of communication more than we need to, and it's just for having or for the lack of having these kinds of conversations. When you read the full story of Esther, for example, she approached King Ahasuerus calmly and modestly, not emotionally. Now, you know, she had to be emotional because, you know, the livelihood of her people was on the line. But she created a peaceful setting for her plea, because she didn't want to throw him off with all of the emotion. She needed to appeal to his logic over his emotion, because a man does not relate to, over her emotion rather, man does not necessarily relate to your emotion. He doesn't understand the language of emotion, but he does understand the language of logic. And so as a woman, when you want your man to really understand, think about, how do I package this in a logical way that he can connect to it? What prevents a man from hearing? Emotion void of logic. Letter B, when you come with a lot of masculine energy. You see, when both parties in the room are masculine, confrontation is imminent. When two men are locked up in a room, you know, and masculine meeting masculine, there's a confrontational energy. You know, there's the measurement contest, if you catch my drift. And so that has absolutely nothing to do with um, you know, male or female, because if a female is in a room and she's operating out of masculine energy, well, she's disarmed, or she's taken the man, you know, to a place where he cannot relate, because whenever a masculine man meets masculine energy, confrontation, you know, various degrees, of course, is imminent. So if the energy were feminine, he could disarm himself. He could lay his masculine armor down, and he could have some empathy and compassion for the feminine and relate. But when it's, you know, when you coming out of that masculine thing, well, now, you know, all of his natural tendencies are to meet masculine with confrontation. It was Esther's feminine approach, symbolized by her what? Her royal apparel and her demeanor, that facilitated her favor with the king. Um, Letter C. What prevents a man from hearing? Emotional communication void of logic. When a woman is coming out of a masculine place, letter C, when a man is offended. When you offend a man, you can't offend a man and then want him to understand. You can't offend a man and then scratch your head like you puzzled by why he's not working to understand. An offended man is difficult to reach. Proverbs 18:19 says that a brother offended is harder to win than a fortified city. If you starting off with offenses, you're never going to get. And then letter D, unclear communication. It's when you're not really clear in your communication. Lack of clarity can confuse or frustrate a masculine man. Proverbs 16:23 indicates that a wise heart instructs the mouth, leading to persuasive speech. Esther's clear and thoughtful speech to King Ahasuerus, when you read the whole story, highlights the importance of precise communication. If you look over in Esther 7, somewhere around verses 3 and 4, you see that when she got a chance to speak her mind, she was precise and she was clear. She wasn't all over the place. What's an example of unclear? Here's an example. You say to your man, you never help around the house. Well, what does that mean? You know, he working 12 hours a day. What do you mean I don't ever help around the house? You know, I put the trash out. Here's clear communication. Could you help with dishes after dinner tonight? Not sitting there in your mind getting angry every night because he eating and he not washing dishes. But rather being clear about what you require and desire. Babe, could you notice how I led into that? Not, can you wash the dishes at least? Mm-mm. No, I can't. No, I cannot. I can't wash no dishes. No, I cannot. Babe, can you wash the dishes for me tonight? And you know what you're going to get? Absolutely. Because for a masculine man, it is his pleasure to please his woman. All he needs to know is what you want. He needs you to present it clearly. Come on now. That's all he needs to know. Clarity avoids misunderstandings and conveys respect by articulating needs without ambiguity. Whenever a man feels disrespected, he's shutting down. Now, he may not be a loud, boisterous, angry kind of guy. He may not be volatile or violent, but he may be quiet, but he's shutting down. You're not going to get anything out of a man that feels disrespected. If you want a man to feel respected, be clear. Letter E, inconsistent body language is another reason that communication is failing between women and their men. And what do I mean by that? Mixed signals, you know. Mixed signals can create distrust. You know, clear, consistent, nonverbal communication reinforces verbal messages. It was Esther's calm and composed demeanor that ensured her words were backed by her actions, fostering a trusting environment. Esther chapter 8, just for your reading, verses 3 through 6. In other words, align verbal and nonverbal communication. Don't say one thing out your mouth and your body language saying something else. Here's an example of mixed signals. Saying you're fine, but with a closed off body posture. I'm fine. You good? I'm good. Hey, are you really good? I'm good. And then you quiet, you're going through all of the, what is it? the silent treatment, the cold shoulder, and all of that. Well, what happens with a masculine man is that he starts reading into that. You trying to manipulate. You got to align your verbal message and your body language message. If you're not good, say I'm not good. If you sitting there, obviously your body language is saying something wrong with you. Don't lie to the man and say I'm good. Now I can't trust you because you look like you're trying to manipulate me. If you're not good, say why. No, I'm not good. I'm really not good, babe. And this is why I'm not good. You said something at dinner that embarrassed me, and I felt like it was disrespectful. Now you know what's going to happen? He's going to sit down. He's going to pay attention to you, right? And you're gonna give him the opportunity to apologize, and then y'all can move on from it. But that, you sitting there like this, you all right, babe? I'm good. Align your signals. Here's an example of aligned signals. Saying you're fine, or rather open body language, and an open dialogue about feelings. In other words, let your body language match the energy of your words. Consistent nonverbal cues build trust, and it reinforces verbal messages. Esther's, when you read the whole story, composed demeanor, again in respectful approach, ensured her verbal message. Letter, what am I looking at here? Letter F. These are reasons men can't hear their ladies many times. When you're communicating emotion void of logic, when you're coming at him with masculine energy, when you're offending him from out the gate. Letter D, when you're unclear in your communication. Letter E, when there's an inconsistency between your body language and your words. And then letter F, when you disrespect boundaries. Overstepping boundaries can make a man defensive. A masculine man will get defensive when you are overstepping boundaries. You got to respect personal space. You got to respect roles, right? When you read the story, Esther respected the king's protocol by waiting for the scepter to be extended. She respected the boundaries. She didn't just wash over the boundaries, break through the boundaries. This is what I want. This is what I mean I'm going to get. No, there are boundaries. There are boundaries that you have that he got to respect. There are boundaries that he has that you have to respect. An example of respecting boundaries or overstepping boundaries would be interrupting him during work. That's not a time to call that man, because you and mother-in-law got into it. You wait till that man get off of his job. This is what he does to provide for his family. That's disrespectful. He can't hear nothing you saying because you just disrespected a major boundary. All emotional, no logic, no. Come on now, you got to think it through better than that. You don't interrupt a man on his job. That's a boundary. Like he shouldn't interrupt you on your job. Here's an example of respecting. Asking for a suitable time to talk. Now, if you just gotta say something while he's on his job, just, sweetheart, I have something I'd like to discuss with you. Let me know when it's a good time. And now you know what's gonna probably happen? He's gonna probably call you at his lunch break, and you can say, well, now watch this now. Here's where you communicating with your man logically. No, not while you're at work, babe. This can wait till you get home. It's not like that important. Wait till you get home. Just let me know once you get home. Let me know when's a good time for me to talk with you. Okay. And now what's gonna happen is when you bring it up to him after he gets home, he's gonna remember the fact that you respected that boundary. He's gonna remember the fact that you didn't alarm him on his job. And now the respect that you sowed, you're gonna reap it back. Now I know some of y'all are saying, okay. Now let's talk about, I got three things I want to talk about. Three things that Esther did. Three things that Esther did right that all queen conscious women can learn from when it comes down to communicating with your king conscious man. And I kind of alluded to each of them actually, but let's just look a little deeper. Number one, communicate from your feminine energy. Do not come out of that boss chick stuff. Don't come from that, supervisor stuff that you carry on at the job. When you're communicating with your man, come from your feminine energy. You got to switch. You can cut feminine on. That's your natural energy. That's your essence. You can cut masculine on. I know you may feel that coming out of your masculine, but cut that off and come out of your feminine. What did Esther do? The first thing she did was she dressed herself up in a way that would catch the king's eye. And she just stood in the room. She started the whole process by turning up her feminine in a way she knew her man could relate to. And when you want your man to understand what you're saying, come straight out your feminine. Don't come from that masculine stuff. Save that for the job. Save that for the business. Save that for negotiating. When you're dealing with your man and you need him to understand it, come out of your feminine. There's something about that feminine energy that just opens a man's understanding up. I promise you, when Lisa getting her feminine, and she probably in here right now, she can answer. She in her feminine, it ain't nothing I can't understand. When she in that masculine stuff, I don't understand nothing. I don't understand nothing. Nothing. When she shift over into that feminine, I got all the understanding in the whole wide world. If you want your man to understand what you're saying, come from your feminine. You see, masculine is direct and assertive. And that here's how you sound when you communicate with your man out of your masculine. We need to discuss your behavior now. Well, it sounds like you're talking to a child. What you mean we need to discuss my behavior now? Well, if he's a masculine man and if he has any kahunas at all, he ain't gonna hear nothing you got to say. Because a man's woman don't address him like that. Like a man don't address his woman like that. He is feminine. See, feminine is soft and inviting. Can we find a moment to discuss something that's been on my mind, something that's on my heart? Same thing, two different energies. One's a command, one's a demand, the other's a request. Feminine energy relaxes a man and allows his masculinity to feel secure. You see, because men, listen to this very carefully. Men guard their masculinity like women guard their virtue. And so a woman is hypersensitive to a man that's trying to rob her of her virtue, especially when it comes down to sexuality, right? Well, a man guards his masculinity like a woman guards her virtue. He's always questioning, is she trying to take my manhood away? Is she trying to, put a skirt on me? Is she trying to wear the pants in the relationship? So when you come from your masculine, you disarm him from all of those concerns, and he's able to relax and hear and receive everything you're saying. Now, according to Dr. John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, femininity in communication fosters understanding and connection. A man can connect to you when you are in your feminine. I promise you. Now, I know what I'm talking about. And if y'all listen to me, you're going to get different outcomes when it comes down to communicating with your man. Your man is not responding favorably to you because the energy you're coming out of is generating nothing but confrontation. It's generating nothing but tension. You're getting the same response. You're getting the same response, just, in a more civilized fashion that bros get on the street when two men that meet one another with masculine energy. It's like who gonna be the alpha around here? Well, that's what you're getting in your relationship. It's a struggle for the alpha. And so you ain't getting no favorable outcomes from your man. It's like he can't hear you, and the fact is he can't hear you as long as you're speaking with a masculine tone. Men are deaf to masculine voices. Questions always asked. Let me help you see this. The question's always asked. RC, why is it that so many women listen to you? And the men are so slow to hear. It's because men are deaf to masculine voices. Every man feels like I'm the alpha. When he hears another masculine voice, he feels like I'm supposed to be telling him. He ain't supposed to be telling me. Now watch this. Look at the phenomenon. Now we got a generation of women that's rising up in social media that are talking to men, and men are hearing. It's because men, the masculine soul is soothed by the feminine voice. The feminine soul is soothed by, relaxed by the masculine voice. If you want your masculine man to hear your voice, stop using masculine tones. Now, I don't know if y'all heard that, but that's a whole bar. That's a whole lot of wisdom right there. That alone right there is worth the cost of admission. Number two, I only have three. I think I might finish early tonight. Communicate. Now, if you're in your feminine, this is automatic. Communicate from a place of respect. Communicate from a place of respect. Proverbs 15:1-2 says again, soft answer calms wrath, whereas harsh words incite anger. A wise tongue uses knowledge rightly. Right? Aligning with Esther's careful and respectful approach to the king, we can see how respect communicates to kings. If you want a king to hear you and to respond favorably, you gotta lace your communications with respect. You can't disrespect a man and then want him to hear you and then want him to respond to you. Number one, when you disrespect a man, the first thought that he has is, this woman can't love me. Because for a man, love is communicated by respect. You want to communicate love to your man, respect him. Respect him. Respect him. The moment you disrespect a man, you shut him down. He is incapable of hearing you. He is incapable of understanding you. What happens is when a man is disrespected, he is angered. And with his woman, that anger is internal. It's like an implosion as opposed to an explosion. If you knew it, there are many women who disrespect their men to the point that if you were a man in the street, it would have been a fist fight. But instead, in the relationship, it is a grabbing of the keys, a leaving of the house. It's an implosion as opposed to an explosion. You will never be able to communicate effectively with a man that you disrespect. You won't be able to move him. You won't be able to change him. You won't be able to convince him of anything as long as he feels disrespected. You know, let me give you an example of how this works. Because there are a lot of times that women are disrespectful to men and you don't even realize you're being disrespectful. That's why you need to really pay attention to your man. When you have a good man, pay attention to him. You know, pay attention to his energy. Let me show you how this happens from a church context. Woman comes to church and she joins the church. She says, "Oh, Pastor RC, Bishop RC, RC, whatever y'all might call me. I just love your teachings. And I went home and told my husband, you need to come to church with me and you need to listen, babe. You don't ever go home and tell your man that he needs to come and listen to another man. Not if he paying your bills. Now, you can tell your son, now you come to church with me because you need to hear what the pastor got, but you don't ever tell your man, you need to come and listen to what another man has to say. No, he ain't coming. He's not coming because you just disrespected him. And he's angry with me and he doesn't even know me because you have said to him in no uncertain terms, I view another man as being more informed, more worth listening to than your voice. And he's the one that's out here grinding for you. Gary Chapman says in the 5 love languages, he emphasizes respect as a key ingredient in effective communication, right? Especially women towards your men. It is the number one. It's numero uno, right? For women, respect is shown when a man listens and when a man demonstrates empathy. A man just needs his woman to manage her tone. There's a certain way you talk to your man, you know, and just handle him a certain kind of way. Don't handle him, you know, if you can manage yourself with your daddy, you can manage yourself with your man. If you can manage yourself with the police, you can manage yourself with your man. If you can manage yourself with your boss on your job, you can manage yourself with your man. Don't have more respect for your boss, for the police, for your daddy, for your pastor than you do your man. The Bible says you're supposed to honor him and he's supposed to honor you above all. No other woman is supposed to come above Lisa and no other man is supposed to come ahead before RC. And if you want me to hear you, you gotta deal with me respectfully. It ain't gonna work no other way. It just ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. No, it ain't gonna work. Number 3, and finally, you gotta do like Esther. Wait on the right time that you know he can receive your message. Because timing can greatly affect how a message is received. Esther waited until the king was in a favorable mood and in the proper setting to present her request, showing discernment and patience. You got to know when your man is in the right mood to receive what you have to say. Now, you know, let me just add this while I'm thinking about it. If it's something that has offended you, you communicate that pretty much in the moment, unless, you know, other people are in the mix. And then as soon as you get out of the mix of the other people, you communicate that. Like if a man does something that hurts you or offends you and he's oblivious to it, you simply look at him and you smile, saying, "Now, babe, see what you just said? That's offensive to me. Please don't say that again." And all he can do, see, because that's a logical approach, especially if you touch him. Make sure you touch him. Put your hand on his. Let him know that we connected. You know what I mean, babe? See what you just said, that's offensive or that hurts. And I know you didn't mean any harm by it, but please don't say that again. One time I called Lisa by a certain name, and I meant no harm, and she knew I meant no harm, but that's exactly how she handled it. She said, "Babe, please don't use that, because that's a trigger. That brings me back to XYZ, so please don't use that." You know, and I never said that again. So you communicate, some things you communicate in the moment, in real time. But in most cases, you have things you want to say to him that you've been thinking about. Find the right time. Timing is imperative. Esther waited for the what? The right time. Esther waited 3 days, even, the Bible said, and then approached the king when he was seated on his throne. She waited 3 days. She waited for him to be relaxed at a moment of openness and willingness. Because when the king is sitting on his throne, he's ready to receive requests. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, and there's a time to every purpose under the heaven." You got to find the right time to present the thing you want to talk about. Right? You got to find the right time to present the thing you want to talk about. Now, let me bring this up while I'm thinking about it. Big mistake we make on both sides of the fence. Men and women make this mistake. The time to bring up the thing you're concerned about is not right after I bring up the thing that I'm concerned about. See, like, you've been sitting on something and you haven't brought it up yet, something that you don't like that I've done, or something you want me to change. But then I come and I say to you, well, I don't think I like A, B, and C. Please don't do that again. And so now, because you're angry about me bringing up A, B, and C, now you blurt out, "Well, I want you to know I've been holding this anyway." Rather than addressing my issue of A, B, and C, now you want to bring up the fact that you've been waiting to talk to me about D, E, and F. So now we got a whole gumbo of a mess here with A, B, C, D, E, and F, and ain't nobody getting no understanding because you just threw the timing off. What you should do is deal with A, B, and C until I've gotten to a place where I feel satisfied that you've heard me and that my concerns are being addressed by you. And then watch this. Once we smile and hug it out, now you can say, "Since you brought this up, I have something, and since we're in the mood of working things out and dealing with issues, I've been thinking about D, E, and F." Well, now you're going to reap what you sow. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Look at this wisdom I'm giving y'all, man. Look at all this wisdom I'm giving y'all for free. For free. This is where so many couples are breaking down. We don't have any wisdom when it comes down to communication. And women, y'all want to communicate, but you got to know how to communicate in a way that your man can hear you and respond to you in a way that you feel like you're getting the outcomes you desire. Well, now let me give you these just practical points relative to timing. Waiting on the right time to bring a message or bring something to a man. Wait till after he winds down from work. Don't catch a man as soon as he walks in from a long day's work. Wait until he winds down from work before you drop something on him. Feed him, let him get a little TV under his belt. And when he's, smiling, laughing, now you can kind of bring something to him. Letter B. Great time to share something with a man is during shared activities. Something y'all do together. Y'all may be in the middle of a basketball game or middle of a football game, watching it, and during the, during the the timeouts during halftime. You say, but I've been thinking about something. Halftime is a good time because y'all got about 15, 20 minutes. I've been thinking about something. What's that, babe? What's that? XYZ. Really? 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 See, because now y'all on the same frequency. The energy's high. You know, you don't have nothing that can come in and interfere. The third thing is on a weekend morning. In other words, find the most relaxed times, the times that your man is most relaxed, and then letter D, when he's in clearly a good mood. Not when he's drunk. If your man is a drinker, don't try to talk to him about something serious when he's drunk. He ain't gonna remember none of that. But catch him when he's in a good mood. Prayerfully, you ain't got no man out here that's getting drunk. But if you do, because he get drunk don't mean he's not a good man. Some men get drunk, but don't be trying to slide nothing in there on the man when he's drunk. He ain't gonna remember nothing. But find the times when he's in a really good mood. Like when a man has had a big win, that's a great time to slip some stuff in there. Say, hey babe, what you think about this? Yeah. You know how many times I said yeah to Lisa after a big win? And then say, man, I actually told her yeah. Now I gotta follow through. But this is just some wisdom, man. I hope that this resonates with you. Hope this makes sense to you. Lisa and I are writing a book relative to the kind versus type. That's not going to be the title, but that's going to be the emphasis. And some of this stuff I think we might put in the book. But I hope you got something out of this. Don't forget to go to rcblakes.com and sign up for my mailing list. Check out all of the online programs. Go to RC Blakes store, and you can purchase the book, my latest book, Training for Reigning. If you purchase it at RC Blakes store today, in like real time, I will. Now, if you're watching this like later, and this is like a rerun, this does not apply. This does not apply. This is like in real time. While I have time to do it, I'm going to sign and send a nice little personal note with the book back to you. That's my latest book, Training for Reigning. If you order it tonight, we had a mishap with the shipment for Queenology, and so now those books are being reprinted properly. And when they come in, I'm going to sign it, put a nice little note. We're going to send it back to you to be signed with a nice note on the inside. And yeah, so do that. Also, check out all of my other books. You can check them out at RC Blakes store as well as Amazon. Thanks to all of you who've sown into our lives. Lisa and I love you. If you want to go with us to Ghana, we're having another informational session because we're going to Ghana in July of 2025. And hey man, we'd love to have you. I think Lisa will put in the chat of information about the next informational session. We'd love to have you in Ghana with us in 2025. What else am I missing? What else am I missing? Well, I guess that's it. Don't forget, sign up for membership because we're going to start dropping the footage from Queenology, the Q&A with Lisa and I, the message from Lisa, the power of okay, the message from myself, 3 imperative internals, and we're going to drop the panel discussion with my daughter, Dr. Carrie Turner, Dr. Tart, the guys from Hardly Initiated. That panel was amazing. We're going to drop that on the YouTube channel, but it will be for members only. So if you're not a member, sign up tonight. Do it before we start dropping this content. Well, I love you. It's been a joy. If you're wondering where I'm at, I'm in Austin, Texas. Yeah, Austin, Texas. And this is a beautiful, beautiful place. But just know I love you. You're on top and you're going higher. God has more in store for you, so we will see you at the top. God bless you. Until next time.
Have you ever wondered what it'll be like to be mentored and taught by RC and Lisa? To be a part of an exclusive group with opportunities to ask questions to RC directly? There is a program called MORDECAI Mission. It may be the opportunity you're looking for. MORDECAI is a 12-week program conducted on Zoom by RC and Lisa. The program is named MORDECAI because it was Mordecai who mentored Esther into her reign as queen. RC has been called the King of Queens. His passion for empowering women is like that of Mordecai. The program is for women seeking spiritual and emotional healing as well as a sense of purpose and a return to self-love. It's biblically based and spiritually empowered. It is roughly an hour of teaching done by RC. It then moves into Q&A. The program is based on 3 pillars. 1. Inner healing. 2. Self-discovery. And 3. Self-development. The program runs for 12 weeks straight. Meetings are at the same time every weekend. The meetings are about 90 minutes to 2 hours. To be a part of the next group, go to www.rcblakes.com and register. Seats are limited. Pray about it, and if you feel a witness in your heart, don't procrastinate. Go ahead and register. We here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of the Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by RC Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by RC. You may find all books written by RC and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.